What's good? What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. Got some news. The boy Jermall Charlo, what is it? Iron Man? One of the, Jermall Lions only. It don't matter. Lions only all day. Jermall Charlo got some words to say about Jaime Munguia. I'm gonna read the article. I'm gonna read what Jermall has to say about Jaime Munguia. Then of course I gotta put my spin on it, my twist on it, and give my opinion. So y'all stay tuned. All right, so shout out to Boxing Scene once again. It says Jermall Charlo says Jaime Munguia don't want no smoke. As of late, the career of Jermall Charlo has been incredibly frustrating. Since 2020, the argumentative, I don't know how that's argumentative. Like, I mean, it's no arguments. He's the WBC champ. I don't see how that's argumentative. It's not like a situation with Devin Haney, which even then wasn't argumentative, but whatever. The argumentative WBC middleweight champion has fought once annually. In 2022, due to a nagging back injury and personal issues, the 32-year-old was forced to withdraw from his optional title defense against French contender Maciej Sulecki. With ample time to rest and recover from his physical aches and pains, Charlo, who's 32-0 with 22 knockouts, recently revealed that he plans on returning to the ring sooner rather than later. 23, said Charlo to a group of reporters when asked when he expects to make his return. I'm 100% now. Before being hit with the injury bug, Charlo appeared to be well on his way to securing one of the premier names in the sport. Following the back and forth negotiations with representatives of Mexican star Jaime Munguia in a collision course between the pair appeared to be a virtual lock. However, the promotional ties ran their ugly head. Their mouth-watering bout fell by wayside. In the absence of a matchup against Charlo, Munguia, 41-0 with 33 knockouts, has been busy against uninspired competition. Definitely right about that. To close out a mostly successful yet somewhat underwhelming year, the middleweight contender made quick work of Gonzalo Correa, stopping his man in the third round on November 19th in Guadalajara, Mexico. As a chorus of boos and criticism has cascaded from all four corners of the globe, Team Munguia has promised his fans that the plan going forward is to pursue bouts against not only Houston's Charlo, but against reigning unified middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin. While it remains possible that Munguia finds himself standing across the ring from Golovkin in 2023, Charlo wholeheartedly doubts that the hard-hitting contender will summon the courage necessary to face him. Munguia don't want smoke, continued Charlo. He would have been fought me. Now, as much crap as I give Jaime Munguia in this situation, like, I feel like it's more so Munguia's handlers that don't trust him to be in there with a top fighter. As evidence, even Steven Espinoza, what he spoke on, because for y'all that don't know, of course Munguia, Showtime was looking to reach out to Munguia and try to make a fight happen between him and Charlo. And Steven Espinoza spoke on, he briefly spoke on what happened, man. Like, matter of fact, just take a listen. I got you.
Well, let me ask you about Munguia, because it seemed as if then Charlo Munguia was going to happen. Do you think Munguia and his team wanted that fight?
I have no doubt that Munguia wants a fight. First of all, I would never question the heart of a fighter, and certainly someone as accomplished as Munguia. But Munguia had a deal. He reached agreement. He had accepted the terms of the fight. So I have no doubt, he negotiated out, accepted it, said, okay, I'm willing to participate in this fight in these terms. So for us, his part was done. He accepted the fight. Things broke down over networks and Munguia's promoters request that we bring in another platform to collaborate with. We can get into some of the details on that, but the reality, it just didn't make sense. We tried to make some concessions, alternating, we get the fight and, Munguia's network can get the rematch. Ultimately, that never got anywhere. And, we weren't able to reach agreement. So we've got to move on and get Jermall the best available fight after that.
So from what I remember about this situation, basically what it was Showtime was reaching out to make the fight with Munguia, who's never been a champion at 160, and Charlo, who's the WBC champion at 160. They were trying to reach a deal to make the fight, and Munguia was all for it. However, Oscar De La Hoya was basically saying like, nah, he wanted to make it a joint deal with Showtime and DAZN. Whereas even though Showtime was stating like, nah, listen, should Munguia win the fight, the rematch can be on DAZN, but we're hosting this fight because for one, DAZN was not putting up any of the funds. Showtime was putting up all the funds, and for two, again, Jermall Charlo is the A side. He's the champion in this situation. So I don't think it's on the champion terms or whatnot. So De La Hoya then steps in and intervenes and messed that fight up. So again, as much crap as I give Munguia and his poor resume, I don't blame him on this situation. I blame the situation on De La Hoya and his handlers. Now, Jermall Charlo and Jaime Munguia both are on a similar path where they're not fighting the best competition. I do believe Jermall has a slightly better resume than Jaime Munguia, being with Julian J. Rock Williams, Austin Trout, Sergey Derevchenko, and the best name on Jaime Munguia's resume is Gabriel Rosado, a guy that Jermall Charlo beat in 2014. So I do believe that Charlo has a slightly better resume, but however, it's still the fact that as far as what have you done lately, these guys have not done much of lately. So I do feel like both fighters need each other in order to get some type of, just to get a big name, because it's been a while since both fighters have been in there with a top contender, or a top opponent, should I say. So I would hopefully, it looks like Munguia is going the Triple G route. Looks like they're trying to hop on the Triple G route, seeing how they're both with DAZN, and hopefully Charlo goes the Android route since they're both with Showtime. It just makes more sense. Munguia's with DAZN. It makes more sense for him to go ahead and try to fight Triple G. And it makes more sense for Jermall Charlo to go ahead and go the Demetrius Andrade route. Now, Jermall Charlo has been out of the ring for a few years or whatnot. Well, not a few years. Well, almost a few years, coming up to by the time he fights. He's supposed to fight in February, but he's been out of the ring for over a year and a half. So, I mean, listen, it don't seem like, I don't think that this fight will happen, at least not next. I believe what's going to happen, like I said, I think that it would, and I can't even blame Jaime Munguia in this situation. To go ahead and go the Triple G route, because Triple G still has belts at 160, and also Triple G, he's right there. He's there for the taking right now. It's a good way to get a name on his resume. Go ahead and take the Triple G fight. Both of you guys are with DAZN anyway, so I can't really blame Jaime Munguia in that aspect if he hops the Triple G route. However, Charlo needs to go ahead and get on the Demetrius Andrade route. Now, Jaime Munguia has avoided Demetrius Andrade. Both of them were with DAZN, so I wouldn't be too surprised if the Triple G fight doesn't happen, but it seems like Triple G is there for the taking. He looks to be past his prime. I think that Golden Boy are going to try to hop on this real quick and get Triple G on Jaime Munguia's resume. So I think that Jermall Charlo just needs to get past his tune-up in February and then focus on Demetrius Andrade. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, but what do I know?